Alright, Shove It Squad. It has been a strange January for the Hawk, with Ring of the Hawk taking a season-long break. Not sure when the new season's going to start yet, but it's been kind of nice to have some other stuff to focus on. And other stuff is what we're going to get today. Because from what I've seen in my comments I get on my NWA videos, people don't really view this company as wrestling. And maybe the word to define this genre is other. Couple of small bits of news before we start. I have tried multiple times to keep stinging AEW on YouTube, but that just isn't happening. So I've now given up and it'll be free on my Patreon. It's a damn shame, but it's just one of the pitfalls of this job. I've also decided to make a monthly NWA video because people always seem to get a kick out of doing it. Love him or hate him, people just want to see what's going on in the crazy mind of EC3. Because last time out he was forming some sort of cult. But more importantly, how is this company still existing? Well, the Hawk actually had a blast last time I watched this, so let's get into some more NWA from this month. And they aren't hanging around here. EC3, the leader of the dogfighting club, is having a match against a newcomer called Joseph Von Schmidt. He has, I don't know, a lumberjack gimmick, and he somehow looks fat, muscly and skinny all at the same time. But suddenly, during the match, there's an awkward cut, and EC3 starts delivering an inner monologue.
When you've been called to redefine a sport in your own image, it requires human sacrifice. So we're gonna punch him, and we're gonna kick him, and we're gonna chop him until his heart explodes.
And EC3 wins this match with ease. He starts talking about his cult in his head, which is called the Nexodus. Ugh. I wonder what happened to most of those guys. He describes his group as simple souls who are looking for a leader. Well, that was an interesting start to the show. I instantly love this promotion more than anything else that's going on in wrestling this year. Imagine bringing back the inner monologues.
Dude, I was watching NWA Powerr the other day, man. And this dude, Ethan Carter III, he stole my inner monologue gimmick, man. He's not the charismatic Enigma man. Dude, I'm going back to North Carolina. And I'm gonna tell my stoner friend Shannon all about you, Ethan, man.
A smiling Ms. Star will now be doing a special presentation for her tag team partner, Ella Envy. She has someone give her some flowers, which causes her to scream and bounce around with happiness. This girl needs to find a boyfriend or something. Ms. Star runs down this whole list of credentials about her partner. They're meant to be funny, but none of them are. The crowd chant overrated. There's also a weird smoke effect on the screen. I wonder why. Is Jeff Hardy around? And wait till you see who she's facing. It's a gnome and R-Truth on crack. Hey, at least it makes Ella Envy look good. Envy screams and cackles after every punch that she does, but then she gets distracted by her own ass. I mean, can you blame her? Check out this amazing pin cover. It doesn't get the job done though. She misses an attack in the corner and Truth does the splits into an arm drag. She hits a falling over scoop slam for a 2. The tag is made to the gnome. Is this the same girl who I called Jordan Grace Jr. in the last show? They hit Envy with a double suplex. Suddenly, Killings tries a diving flying splits from the top rope but misses. She's gonna need a ball after this one. Ella double kicks the gnome and lands a flatliner with the pin getting broken up. Ella gets rid of her again with a TKO. She's about to finish the match when Natalie Markova bounces into the ring looking for a fight. Suddenly, everybody's in the ring and Tiffany Nieves takes out Markova with a steel chair. The match has been thrown out, even though nobody in the actual match was attacked. Ella celebrates with her flowers whilst the crowd once again chant overrated. The crazy hippie commentator is here with his diarrhea bag special. He offers us some foam hands, a hat saying Carneyland, and an ugly red hoodie. I've always wondered if this company has any intellectual property beef with the rappers from the 90s. Wow, it's Primo and Epico. Primo tells us how excited he is to be here in the NWA and for the fans to witness the greatest matches of their careers. He says they are household names, unlike their opponents tonight. Why do the clones look so generic? I guess their match is later, because first we're having a different tag match first for the tag belts. Knox and Murdoch defend against a man called Shade and a small man called El Jefe who's scared of Murdoch. Murdoch hits some power moves. He does a drop toe hold into Knox's elbow drop. Mike Knox lands a splash now whilst his eyes almost pop out of his head. Slade takes a bunch of moves until his partner El Jefe distracts the others and Slade hits a suplex. He does another one and finally the little man comes in. For about a second, before he dumps his knickers with fear and runs away. Mike Knox big boots Slade and punches him, which causes a tag to be made. El Jefe is arguing on the ring apron like a dumbass for an uncomfortable amount of time. Nox finally brings him into the ring and hits another big boot. He then hits a gorilla press slam and he's having a good old time. Nox and Murdoch do another gorilla press slam together, but somehow this one's still going. Nox now hits a sort of suplex slam and tags Murdoch. Together they hit a high-low and that's the 3. They celebrate a bad win with their mascot. Somewhere in the back, Damien Sandow still exists for some reason. He cuts a pointless promo about not apologising for who he is. An introduction to a man called Mike Mondo. He somehow looks like everybody else on this show, as demonstrated by a match against the Twin. I have no idea which man is Mondo. Who booked this crap? Why would you have him face somebody who looks exactly the same as he does? It's not difficult, is it? A kindergartner could decide not to have this match. It's completely dumb. Mondo's opponent is all fired up. Mondo stops him by crashing into him from behind. He gets a 2 off a running dropkick. He screams, "This is my house," as he does submissions. The commentary team laugh that neither man has a neck. He gets drop-kicked out the ring and he disappears, but reappears from the other side. He nails a Northern Lariat and a throw into his knees, which is called gut check. I despise that finisher. It's incredibly stupid to suspend your disbelief that it wouldn't hurt you as much as your opponent. The main event of episode 1 is Primo and Epico taking on another big bold man and Odison. I don't think I've seen Odison and Kratos win a match since I've been watching this, so how do they keep getting booked? Primo seems intimidated. He looks like he's about to get eaten. Kratos barges him down and also hits a shut-up-or smack you one punch. He suplexes Primo across the ring and suddenly starts a strange roaring chant. The tag is made to Epico. The clones hit Kratos with a double Russian. They're apparently heels. They hit splashes on Kratos, but the Bulldog is reversed into a throw. Odinson in for the first time. He hits a bunch of twisting moves and he spins around like a ballerina on crack. Primo is hit with a suplex and Epico is thrown on top of him. His next move is broken up and the cousins hit a double DDT. Kratos returns to the ring and he sends Primo upside down. Kratos then manages to get his fat arm wedged in a ring post. I can honestly say I've never seen a man stuck inside a ring post. He can't get the damn thing out as Odinson hits a jackhammer on Primo. A loud crash is then heard and the referee calls for the bell. It's announced that the Colognes have lost due to a DQ. What a debut. Everybody is asking what has happened, but nobody knows and nobody cares. Seriously, it's never explained or shown. Kratos does manage to free his arm, so that's something. They are then jumped by Doom 2.0. They are with their manager Damien Sandow on a ladder. He climbs the ladder where he rings a bell above the ring. Why is there a bell above the ring? While spraying himself in the face with spray paint. The show goes off the air. What on earth was that? What did I just watch? What did any of that mean? I need closure. We have to watch another episode. We just have to. Little did I know, it would never be explained. We open this one with a singles match between Big Silas Mason and Mr. Grimm, who looks like a viscera dieted. Silas boots him in the face straight away. Mason follows that with a middle rope shoulder tackle for a 2. He gets slowed down with an enziguri. Mason shuts him down with a kick to the gut, and he lifts him up for a powerbomb, but drops him. Then he actually does manage to power him up, only for Mr. Grimm to almost roll him into a sunset flip for a 2. The crowd chant that was awesome. Grimm misses his next kick and gets a back suplex. The Furlbilly clotheslines him and sits on his face for a 2. Somehow Grimm still has something left in the tank and he squashes Mason on the ropes. He tries to fly but gets stopped and Silas Mason crushes him with a running power slam. He pins him like he's the Undertaker and that one ends... Wait, no, it doesn't end it. Why did that not end it? Why are matches that seemingly look like squash matches also competitive? Wrestling logic, a big fat dude like this gets power slammed, it should be over. It doesn't make Silas Mason look good. Mr. Grimm floors him with a flying clothesline. Mason says it's time for Grimm to meet the Reaper, but he doesn't meet the Reaper, instead he bounces off the middle rope into a clothesline. The crowd once again chant, "This is awesome." Mr. Grimm lands a Death Valley driver for a 2. Mason has had enough and he manages to hit the Thrill Ride, which is a pretty impressive finisher on a big guy. I really shouldn't have, but I actually enjoyed this match the most out of any match on these 3 shows. We get a hype package now for a girl who calls herself Little Fish. Why would I want to watch a wrestler called Little Fish? Her parents don't want her to be a wrestler, but I guess it's too bad. This is her biggest opportunity ever. With a closing statement like that, you'd expect her to be in the ring next, but she isn't. Instead, it's a women's tag team match with Kylie and Kenzie Page taking on the Caribbean girls. This one should be alright. Rufy J, which sounds like something you'd tip in somebody's drink, has an impressive start and she dominates. La Rosa Negra joins with a double hip toss and she slams her partner on top of Kylie Page. Nice to see that the NWA Bakery roof is still holding up strong. Rosa Negra takes her out again with a middle rope back elbow. Kenzie Page then causes a distraction and the match turns. La Rosa looks like she's dead as Kylie smacks her over and over again. The Page sisters hit a wacky, clapping, clicking, flicking elbow drop together. Kylie Page then hits a running ass to the face for a 2. La Rosa finally drops on the turnbuckles and hits a ballet-style cab driver slam. Both girls tag out. Rufy J does a roll through into a bridging German for a 2. The match turns into a bunch of reversals until the Caribbean girls are thrown together and La Rosa Negra is rolled up. They do a breakup angle after the match. La Rosa thinks she's calmed her partner down, but then she attacks her from behind and she hits La Rosa Negra with her Eat Defeat. Rufy J removes her armbands and says she is no longer from the Caribbean. An interview with Big Strong Mims and his manager now. Apparently, Pirate Paul Burchill was upset with losing to Mims at Samhain. Wasn't it a fair and clean win and Burchill sucked? Ugh, no. Another tag match featuring another massive, big, bold, strong man. I can't do this. You need to fire some of these guys, NWA. Your audience at home... Who am I kidding? I'm probably the only one watching. But I can't tell who's who. It's the Miserably Faithful, which is the big bold guy, and Gags the Gimp. It's like the NWA are laughing at you at this point, because you'd have to be miserably faithful to still watch this show every week. They take on Daisy Kills and Talos. The big guy Talos really reminds me of Bulldozer Brian Lee. Apparently, Daisy Kill and Talos are the next to get a tag title shot. The match is slow, and I have no idea who we're supposed to be cheering for. The Gimp is actually tagged in, and they say his horns are loaded. The Gimp hits a Stratisfaction as a blind tag is made. Daisy Kills gets powerbombed by the Bold Man, and they both leave the ring. Little does the Gimp know, but he's all alone with the big man now. He starts undoing his zipper mask and waggling his tongue about. Talos has had enough and he chokeslams him for the 3. Oh no. The Bold Man, Mike Mondo, is back again. He says it's time that NWA recognise greatness while stumbling over his words. He's here to battle somebody from his past. He ends on a new catchphrase which will be coming to NWA merchandise stands soon. It's my time, it's Mondo time, it's gut check time. How about it's gut punch time? Maybe it's time I watched a different show. Another women's match next. Little Fish versus Hayley J. They both keep doing some sort of wacky crazy dance whilst Billy Corgan brags about discovering Little Fish in one of his NWA territories. This girl is a cringy dancer. She hits an incredible hip toss and smiles with happiness. Fish also hits a vertical suplex. Her baseball slide is stopped as she's caught on the ring skirt and given a beatdown. Back in the ring, Hayley weakly sweeps her legs out and hits knees to the back of the head. Hayley tries to tie her pigtails to the ropes, which doesn't work and she gives up. The match is incredibly slow and boring. Finally, Hayley J wins with a curb stomp and a silent crowd. Are we looking at the next NWA Women's Champion? Well, I guess that depends on how many purple pills Billy Corgan's going to take. On to the main event. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Big Bold Boy number 6 and his partner Jay Bradley. They are the Fixers. I know I'm going to get some comments yelling at me for being racist to bold people or something. Look, if you can't see the issue with this many people being on the show who look exactly the same, you need to get your head examined. In fact, I think the NWA need to get their head examined. There seems to be something going wrong here. Where's everyone's hair gone? Is it lice? I have been preaching for years that variety is the spice of life, like a punch to the gut. Think about it. Has any of these big bold boys left any sort of lasting impression on any of you? They haven't, the Hawk. And that's because they all look like the same damn person. Is Billy Corgan trying to live vicariously through them? They take on the Slime Bulls, who are the new Nasty Boys, except they aren't fat. In fact, they could actually do with eating some fat. I assume they're just kids though, so I'll lay off them. They struggle to take Bold Boy number 6 down. A dive is caught, but they tip the big man over. The smaller Slime Boy is thrown through the air, and I think he botches something because he just sort of slops into Jay Bradley and screams at him triumphantly. The smaller Slime Boy is squashed time and time again, but somehow he keeps surviving. It's actually a bit ridiculous. He eventually slips out of a gorilla press. He tries a pin, but he's too weak and nothing happens. I thought something cool was about to happen there. The Slime Ball tries a guillotine, but he just gets dumped to the mat like a turd log in the toilet. The Fixers hit him with a double squash, but the other Slime Ball can take no more and he chop blocks Jay Bradley and causes the big boys to smash together. Randomly, Carson rolls into the ring and he drags the Slime Balls out of the ring. The match is thrown out for DQ? Just for that? The Slime Balls are winners because somebody lightly dragged one outside of the ring. What a main event we had there! The announcer, who is also bold, asked why Carson Drake did that. He says he did that because he's a saint. From one bold boy to another bold boy, Billy Corgan has an announcement. He says it's time to restore order in this company. I mean, I just watched 2 episodes. It doesn't seem like there's chaos in this company. He'd be better off spending his time trying to improve the actual product. It would have been nice if they could have been bothered to run some actual angles to boost his claims that this company is out of control. Nothing's happened since Samhain. He says at the next pay-per-view there's going to be 2 cage matches, EC3 versus Bram for the world title once again, and also Natalie Markova versus Tiffany Nieves. That second one's random, they've only been bickering for a few weeks. And I guess EC3 versus Bram is still the biggest match they can make, but I just don't see how this restores any order. Look, I'm going to watch one more of these because EC3 hasn't really showed up yet, and I want to see if his cult actually do anything. Alright, show 3, and apparently we're going to hear from EC3 on this one. The opening match is Magic, Jake Dumbass and Zion versus Joe Ocasio and Colby Corino. Joe Ocasio seems to have something. I'm not sure what that something is, but yeah, anyway, Colby Corino wins, not much to say. Randomly, we've got a women's match next with Tiffany Nieves taking on Natalie Markova. I thought they said they were having a cage match at the next pay-per-view. I have to question why this match is happening now. Did they mix up the order in post-production with a cage announcement in this match? Now, the Hawk is a fan of both of these women, so let's see how they get on. If I was TNA, I'd be circling both these ladies like a hawk in the sky. Natalie hits a nice shut up or I'll smack you one punch. Her punches leave Nieves on Dream Street and a big knee almost finishes her off. Tiffany comes back with a headbutt and a DDT. Markova then comes back and my script said Mormon. I don't think she's a Mormon. She tries to hit a dive through the ropes. Oh, and she misses it. Okay, TNA, just ignore me. Markova looks like she's out of it. I was actually worried for a moment. They stall for time. It's actually quite rare to see a botch like that nowadays. Companies got a lot better at hiding them. Then, oh wow, you have to be kidding me. The ref rings the bell for a count out. It doesn't help that you can't even hear that the ref was counting. Did they call an audible here because Natalia was too injured? The ref stands back as the injured woman is almost smashed with a chair. Then Tiffany does start hitting her with a chair and the ref still stands there. Nieves seats her in the chair and kicks it over. The one fan in attendance desperately screams, "Leave her alone." Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this was supposed to happen, but Markova looks like death warmed up. In all seriousness, botches do happen from time to time. It's just the timing of my comments that made this seem worse. I'd still have them both. We get another tribute to the recently deceased Jax Dane. It's nice that they haven't just moved on and forgotten about him. In honour of Jax Dane, they will now broadcast a never-before-seen match. Him and Baron Storm versus Big Strong Mims and Black G's, who isn't a wrestler as far as I know. Well, he sure doesn't look like one. We're informed that Black G's got shot during a carjacking attempt. Jesus Christ. Mims might be strong, but Jax Dane seems to be stronger. He hits him with multiple suplexes across the ring. These are two big bastards, they're just smashing into each other. Mims gets a 2 off a splash. Baron Storm has the tag and instantly motions for the claw as everybody dumps in their nappies with fear. They almost get counted out whilst they hide. Jeez is forced to wrestle Jax Dane. He suplexes him before Mims drags him out of the ring and throws him into the steps. That helps Jeez hit a flatliner in the ring for a 2. They start working on Dane's legs. Eventually Dax hits a Samoan drop, which I am just not okay with. Samoan drops should just be safe for Samoans and fat guys, and Dane was neither. The Baron has the tag. He slams Jeez and looks for the claw again. Dane gets rid of Mims and the Baron has the claw on Jeez and he taps straight away, and the Baron is a very happy Baron. Dane aggressively stops Mims from breaking up the claw. Even though Dane is technically Bold Boy number 7, I think he does manage to stand out a bit more than some of the others. He looks more polished and intimidating. Once again, rest in peace Jax Dane. Up next we've got an interview of Daisy Kills. It's actually a nice promo. He doesn't try to shout or scream, he just has a sort of unsettling tone. The 4 guys who have already had a match together fight. The number 1 contenders for the tag titles are beaten up by 2 guys who aren't even in the picture. Well done NWA, brilliant. A singles match up next which will see Kerry Morton take on Connor Murphy. His on-screen graphic barely even resembles him. Wait, he has 23 on his tights. TNA are doing a storyline around a mystery number 23. Could you imagine if TNA managed to pull off the signing of Connor fucking Murphy? Ratings would go through the roof. They could actually tear up Tessa Blanchard's contract and kick Joe Hendry into the WWE locker room without mercy. Kerry is very slick and smooth in the ring, but he needs to hit the gym and put a bit of muscle on. He hits a smack with Connor Murphy doing a nice sail job. Nice slingshot suplex from Morton now. Now it's a spinning powerbomb. Murphy eventually hits with a super kick but can't follow it up, and Morton nails a jumping knee and a final cut for the 3. I really rate Kerry Morton, but he needs to work on his aesthetic for anyone to take him serious. A very skilled wrestler who could go further if he puts the work in. We do now get to hear from EC3, but it's a massive letdown. He sounds very biblical today. He keeps comparing himself to Moses and said he's God's chosen champion. He's not even a champion in this company. To be fair, he's still hot on the stick, the best talker on this show. But what's the deal with his cult? Because how aren't they even showing up on this show? Why would you do a cult angle and then not follow up on it? It's like control your narrative all over again. He starts doing something, fans start talking, and then nothing happens. This is why angles fail. You can't get people talking and not give them anything else to talk about. Instead, we have a non-title match between Bram and Tyler Franks. It hasn't really taken much, but Bram does look like the most impressive person on this show. Franks gets a couple of hopeful pins on Bram. Franks comes close again for a net breaker through the ropes. Bram responds with an atomic drop and some clotheslines. He connects with a back suplex and a flash DDT. He finishes the jobber off with a pop-up powerbomb. The biggest squash match out of the 3 shows. Bram celebrates with his belt and nothing happens. What is wrong with you, NWA? I just sat through 3 of these shows waiting for something to happen. Why start an invasion angle and then do nothing with it for the following 3 shows? What a bunch of morons. Someone needs to smack Billy Corgan in the gut of a brick. Alright then. What do you think then, squad? I think we can all agree the women's division is of a high enough standard. But the men, there just isn't anything here. Most of them either seem like jokes or completely out of shape. There is something likeable about this show though. It moves along at a faster pace than mainstream wrestling shows. In fact, it's so quick that half the stuff doesn't even make sense. People randomly turn up and then it isn't followed up on. Matches end in weird ways. A collection of generic bold wrestlers. For some reason, I find myself drawn to this product still though. It's just easy to watch. You know that it's terrible, but it's not boring. I'd rather be asking myself what the hell was that than falling fast asleep. Let the Hawk know if you think the NWA review should continue on the channel, and if you don't agree with that, I'll drop you down a manhole.